Since my best friend's death, I've been parenting his kid alone. During my routine drop-off of my kid at daycare one day, I happened to run into someone I never imagined seeing again. 7 years ago, my ex-girlfriend ended our relationship on her own initiative. She replied, looking down on my daughter. She looked exactly like a poor man's daughter. All I could do was stare at her in silence. I'm quite happy that I broke up with a dull man like you. I'd assume you earn almost nothing. She went on to discuss her present predicament and grievances, adding, my husband now operates his own business. Uncle Mason, is this lady kind of clueless about the world? My daughter asked her. My ex was furious when I told him that, and I had no idea what would happen next. I had no clue how it would all turn out at the moment. My name is Mason. I'm 30 years old, working as a company employee while aiming to become a manga artist. Lulu, are you still not dressed? Breakfast is ready, but I can't find my other sock. Patches took it. It's not my fault. Help me find it, Uncle Mason. Lily, the 4-year-old girl, complained that our 8-year-old calico cat, Patches, had run off with her sock in its mouth. Patches is like a little sister. He's probably trying to stop her from going to daycare again. Just grab a new pair and put them on. Come on, breakfast is waiting. Patches, stop sabotaging her. Lily has to go to daycare. Patches, sorry about that. When I get back, I'll give you lots of treats, okay? Be a good boy and wait for me. Lily patted Patches' fluffy belly as she spoke. As I thought about how Patches was getting a little too round and needed fewer treats, I heard a loud crash followed by Lily yelling that Patches had spilled some milk. Mornings like this were unimaginable when I used to live alone. All right, Lily, let's head to daycare. That everything you need? I routinely drop Lily off at daycare on my way to the office in the morning. I never forget anything, right? It's always me who forgets to pack your things. We're good today, so don't worry. As I slipped on my shoes, my eyes wandered to a framed photo sitting on the shelf above the shoe rack. Let's say goodbye to your mom and dad before we leave, okay? Bye-bye, mommy, daddy. See you later. I winked at the photo before heading out the door. The picture showed Lily's biological parents. 2 years ago, they lost their lives in a tragic accident. Lily's father, Tate, was my best friend. We had met in high school. Back then, I was what people might call an introvert, and I didn't have any close friends at school. With no one to talk to during breaks, I spent my time quietly drawing in my notebook. I had loved drawing since I was a kid, and my childhood dream was to become a manga artist. At some point, though, I began to see it as nothing more than a pipe dream, far from attainable reality. While all my classmates were having a good time with their friends, I, who drew pictures silently, became a prey for the cheerful crowd. Hey, this guy's drawing manga. Oh, what a nerd. I can't stand nerds. Staying here, totally lame. Hey, nerd boy, why don't you draw some sexy girls instead of this lame stuff? Then maybe we'll take a look. Wow, that's messed up, dude. They'd snatch my notebook and mock me. I wanted to speak up, but I would just endure it with a forced smile. That way, I could avoid making waves and remain invisible. Tate was the only one who didn't ridicule my drawings. In fact, he praised them. Hey, Mason, what are you always drawing? Ha, can I see it too? Being the target of teasing by the popular kids, I hesitated, fearing Tate might mock me as well. But seeing the genuine curiosity on his face, I cautiously handed in my notebook. What? You drew this, Mason? He looked back and forth between me and the sketches in the notebook, his eyes widening in surprise. His reaction made my heart race as I stammered, yeah, I did. Tate's eyes lit up even more as he turned to me, his voice brimming with excitement. This is amazing, Mason. You should totally become a manga artist. I couldn't. I've never even tried making a manga. You should give it a shot. I'd love to read something you made. Encouraged by Tate, I began drawing manga for my one and only reader, who eagerly awaited each chapter. I kept drawing even after graduating high school. Sometimes Tate would give me brutally honest feedback, but over time his support became the driving force behind my passion for creating manga. Tate often shared his dreams with me. My family, well, when I was little, my mom cheated on my dad and left us. After that, my dad turned to drinking, so I always dreamed of having a happy family of my own someday. True to his word, after graduating college, Tate got married and built the happy family he'd always wanted with his wife and daughter. But our time together was cut short. One snowy day, Tate and his family were heading to a forest park to play in the snow. At the time, Lily was just 2 years old. A car, coming from the opposite direction, skidded on the icy road, crossing the center line and colliding with them. Only Lily, seated in the back, survived. With no grandparents left to care for her, Lily was sent to live with her extended family. Lily doesn't miss me at all, so I don't think she's cute. We can't take care of her, one relative said, passing her on to another household. The next family, citing their advanced age, said they couldn't handle raising a young child, and so Lily was shuffled from one relative to another. When I learned that she would eventually be sent to an orphanage, I couldn't sit still. I stepped forward. But you're single, aren't you? Even if you were Tate's friend, raising such a young child. I want to stay with Mason. I want to be Mason's child. Because I had often spent time with Tate's family while he was alive, I already had a connection with Lily. Thanks to her choice, I was allowed to take her in. After a short 10-minute walk, we arrived at Sunflower Daycare, where Lily spent her days. I escorted her to the front of her classroom. All right, Lily, be good, okay? Eat all your lunch and play nicely with my friends. You don't have to remind me every day. I'm a preschooler now. Lily puffed her cheeks in protest, her precocious attitude clashing with my overprotectiveness. Sorry, it's just a habit. Good morning, Lily. Good morning. Lily's mood instantly brightened as she was greeted by her favorite teacher, Miss Michaela Milton. Even though moments earlier she had been grumbling at me while putting her things away in her locker, Miss Milton is Lily's homeroom teacher. Despite her youth, she's reliable and has been a great help, giving me advice as I navigate parenting. Bye-bye, Mason. Have a good day at work, Lily shouted as she ran off to join her friends in the classroom. The energy of children is like a whirlwind. As I let out a sigh of relief, Miss Milton turned to me. Mason, how's your manga coming along? Oh, it's coming together slowly. Between work and house chores, it's hard to find time. That's understandable. Don't overdo it, okay? If you push yourself too hard and collapse, it'll worry Lily and me. What? Oh. It just meant that if you collapse, I wouldn't be able to read the rest of your manga. That's all. No deeper meaning. Oh, right. The rest of the manga. Talking with the beautiful Miss Milton had become one of the few bright spots in my day, so her unexpectedly suggestive remark made my heart skip. For a moment, I felt a little embarrassed about my reaction. Right now, I'm working on a piece for a manga competition. It really helps that you like manga, Miss Milton. Your feedback is always super valuable. In fact, Miss Milton's advice has been very helpful. When I asked my colleagues at work and other people close to me to read the book, they all uniformly gave me nothing more than it was interesting. Oh, not at all. But if you win that contest, your manga could be published by a major company, right? That's incredible. Well, only if I win. I really hope more people get to read your manga, Mason. It's so good, she said, smiling brightly to encourage me. With her warm smile cheering me on, headed off to work. A few days later, as I was dropping Lily off at daycare at the usual time, I ran into Miss Milton at the gate. She usually wore her long hair up in a high ponytail, but today it was tied back simply. Noticing the change, I asked out of curiosity, Miss Milton, you look a little tired today. Is everything okay? Oh no, you noticed. Actually, I'm a bit tired. I probably shouldn't say this to parents, but I feel like I can talk to you, Mason. She gestured for me to step aside to the edge of the playground before she began speaking. You see, there's this new child who recently joined the daycare. Their mother is what you call a helicopter parent. A helicopter? Yes, exactly. She's been filing complaints almost daily since her child started here. Both Mr. Sullivan and I are at our wits' end. Being a teacher sounds like a tough job. As she sighed, sharing her struggles, I noticed it was almost time for me to head to work. I'm sorry. I wish I could stay and listen longer, but I really need to get to the office. Oh no, I'm the one who kept you. Sorry about that, I assured her. We can talk more another time. Then I hurried off to work. A few days later, I was completely immersed in finishing my manga. Lily was being unusually cooperative, playing quietly with patches or sitting nearby and drawing. Hey Lulu, when I get around to this, we can go shopping for dinner and go to the park. And it's okay. We don't need to go to the park and dinner can just be something from home. I want rice with a fried egg on top, so keep drawing, Mason. Feeling guilty that even a child was trying to accommodate me, I redoubled my efforts. Yes, I did it. It's done, Lily. I finished my manga. Good job, Mason. After countless late nights, I finally completed the manga and submitted it just in time for the contest deadline. The next day, still sleep-deprived but in high spirits, I walked Lily to daycare, holding her hand. Miss Milton greeted us at the entrance. Miss Milton, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Lily, you seem extra cheerful today. Did something good happen? Yeah, Mason finished his manga, so tonight he's making me my favorite Hamburg steak. Wow, that's exciting. After seeing Lily off into her classroom, Miss Milton turned to me. So you finally finished it? Yes, just barely made the deadline. I couldn't have done it without your advice and support. Oh, it was nothing, but I'm really looking forward to seeing the results. I promise to let you know how it turns out. I'll be waiting for good news. Oh, that reminds me, I need to give you this. Miss Milton offered me a printout from a nearby box. Taking a quick glance, I saw it was a notice about a daycare performance. I meant to give this to you the other day, but I forgot. Did Lily mention anything about the upcoming performance? No, she hasn't mentioned anything like that. I thought so. What do you mean by that? Well, as the handout mentions, the performance will be on a weekday. I think Lily might be worried about your work schedule. She told her friends Mason wouldn't be able to come because it's not a day off. That little, always worrying about me. Please don't be upset with her. I think she's just concerned that you might get into trouble at work if you take a day off for kids. Even things that seem small to us adults can feel very important. I see your point. Of course, I'm not upset. I'll make sure Lily knows it's okay for me to take a day off. By the way, what's her role in the performance? Our class is doing a play of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Lily is playing Goldilocks. You have to come see her. It'll mean so much to her. Plus, her costume is absolutely adorable, so look forward to it. I will. That evening, I told Lily that I'd be taking the day off to watch her performance. Then, as expected, Lily was worried about me taking time off work. But when I assured her it was fine, she was overjoyed. She spent the rest of the night excitedly talking about the play until she finally drifted off to sleep. On the morning of the performance, I stood in the entryway watching Lily's hair as she put on her shoes. The daycare had requested that the children come with their hair styled in braids to accommodate the Goldilocks costume. Wow, Lily, you can braid your own hair now? You've grown up so much. Last night, Lily told me, wake me up a little earlier than usual, so I woke her up 30 minutes early this morning. I am pathetic, but I can't braid, so all I could do was brush her hair as usual. Then Lily started braiding her hair in front of the mirror, and I was so impressed with how much she had grown. Of course I can. This is easy. Miss Milton taught me, and I practiced a lot. I see. You're growing up so fast. Lily Tate, your precious daughter is, I said, turning to the photo of Tate on the console table. I winked at it before heading out the door. As I locked the door, I noticed Lily peeking into the mailbox. I rushed her. Who is doing something troublesome in the busy morning? What are you doing, Lily? If we don't leave now, we'll be late for the performance. Remember, seating for parents is first come, first served. Let's hurry up and get a good spot. You can check the mail later. I took her hand, closed the mailbox, and walked quickly toward the daycare. I was determined to get a prime seat to capture the best photos and videos of Lily. When we arrived at the daycare, I escorted Lily to the entrance, only to run into an unexpected person. Lucy. It was Lucy, my ex-girlfriend. Well, if it isn't Mason. What are you doing here with the kid? Her gaze shifted to Lily, and she smirked. She looks exactly like a poor man's daughter. Annoyed but wanting to avoid a scene in front of Lily, I bit back my retort. Taking my silence as permission to continue, Lucy launched into a tirade. We recently moved into a new house nearby, so I enrolled my son in this daycare. But honestly, this place is awful. The teachers are poorly trained, the facilities are outdated, and the staff's attitude is just terrible, especially my son's teacher, who is just young and has nothing going for her. I've already asked Miss Sullivan to replace her. Hearing this, I realized Lucy must be the so-called helicopter parent Miss Milton had mentioned. What's with the silence? Say something. You're as boring as ever. Breaking up with you was the best decision I ever made. Her smug tone finally pushed me to respond. Please don't talk like that in front of children, I said, not wanting Lily to hear more of her nonsense. Lucy, seemingly offended by my comment, shot back in an agitated tone. Oh, stop being so uptight. For your information, my husband runs his own company. He makes good money, and thanks to him, my son and I live a wonderful life. Marrying someone like you with your meager salary would have been a huge mistake. Her temper seemed to be the same as it always was. Lucy flippantly looked down on me and giggled with a silly expression on her face. I remember that I was never good at this part of her. We had dated 7 years ago, back when I was fresh out of college and just starting my career. I met Lucy at a mixer, reluctantly dragged along by my colleague Sydney. Having never joined clubs or dated in college, I wasn't used to talking to women and was inexperienced in relationships. Is this seat taken? She had asked during one of the mixers, pointing to the empty spot next to me. That was how I first met Lucy. The soft and charming aura of Lucy made my heart race. What? You graduated from each university, Mason? That's amazing. When I mentioned my alma mater after she repeatedly asked, her eyes lit up and perhaps tipsy, she leaned in closer to me. It's not that impressive, really. Sydney teased me as I responded with a surprised look on my face at the sudden contact with the woman. Don't be so modest. Mason's the first H-University grad in our company's history. The higher-ups have high expectations for him. Lucy, if you're interested, now's your chance. Oh, stop it. Don't say things like that, Sydney. Are you drunk? Quit teasing us already. That was how Lucy and I first met, and soon after, she pursued me, leading to our relationship. At first, things seemed to be going well, but there were moments when I felt we weren't quite on the same wavelength. So, Mason, if we got married, what kind of house would you want to live in? Wait, married? Isn't it a little early to be talking about that? We've only been dating for 3 months. Don't you think we should get to know each other better first? You're so boring sometimes. It doesn't hurt to imagine what kind of house we have. Well, I guess just a normal house. Forget it. Whenever things didn't go her way, Lucy would get upset, and calming her down was always exhausting. 6 months into our relationship, she broke up with me out of the blue. What do you mean you want to become a manga artist? You've never mentioned that before. She shouted one day while we were out shopping for her birthday gift. After indulging her whims all day, we decided to take a break at a cafe. That's when I casually brought it up, only for her to explode. Calm down, Lucy. People are staring. I don't care. Why would you want to be a manga artist? It's been my dream since I was a kid. I'm still working my day job now, but I hope to debut as a manga artist someday. You've got to be kidding me. I started dating you because I thought you had a bright future ahead of you as an H University graduate. I want to be rich and live a luxurious life, not throw it all away on some ridiculous dream. Are you stupid? So that's how you saw me all along? Yes. I thought you were destined for success. There's no point in staying with you now. We're done. She declared before storming out of the cafe, leaving me behind. Even now, thinking about that moment fills me with bitterness. As I was lost in thought, Lily, who had been standing next to me, glanced at Lucy and asked bluntly, Mason, is this lady clueless about the world? Lucy sneered, glaring at Lily. At that moment, Miss Milton appeared, being led by a few concerned children who had overheard our argument. What's going on here? The children said there were grown-ups arguing. Please stop this. It's upsetting the children. Even though Lily adored Miss Milton, she seemed unfazed by her arrival. She is not afraid to speak her mind even to an irritated Lucy. Mason is going to win the manga contest and become an amazing manga artist. Lucy snorted, looking at Lily with disdain. What nonsense. He's just dreaming. Adults shouldn't cling to silly dreams. It's pathetic. Lily, please don't say things like that in front of others. It's not decided yet, I said, feeling a mix of embarrassment and frustration as my dream was belittled. So I said to Lily as if to tell her off, but Lily shook her head vigorously, clearly upset by my words. No, Mason, you're wrong. What am I wrong about? When we left the house, there was a letter in the mailbox. It had a drawing of Izzy's Big Adventure on it. Izzy's Big Adventure was the flagship manga from the publisher I had submitted my work to. If the envelope really had that illustration, it could only mean one thing, a victory notification. Is Izzy's Big Adventure? That has to be it. Lily, we did it. I won. See, I was right all along. What? You won? That's amazing. Congratulations, Miss Milton said, beaming as if the achievement were her own. What on earth is going on here? Why are you all acting like fools? Lucy sputtered, utterly baffled by our jubilant reactions. Other parents nearby began to offer their congratulations, adding to Lucy's confusion. One of the mothers turned to Lucy and calmly said, Excuse me, but saying things like that in front of your child isn't appropriate. Excuse me? Saying what exactly? Lucy shot back, her face twisting into an intimidating glare. Making disparaging remarks about someone else. If you talk like that often, it could negatively influence your child. You should think about how your words might impact them. After all, you're a parent. Lucy's face flushed with a mix of anger and embarrassment. Mind your own business. Parents like you, always shoving your opinions about parenting down everyone's throats, are so annoying. The mother was deflated by Lucy's swashbuckling, but another parent stepped in to back her up. This woman, she's the one who's always cornering Miss Milton and Miss Sullivan at pickup time to give them endless lectures. I had overheard her once. It was just a nonstop rant about her parenting theories. It's not like the teachers can do anything about that kind of stuff. I thought it was so weird. Her words seemed to unleash a floodgate, and soon other parents chimed in with their own complaints about Lucy. The situation quickly spiraled out of control. Mason, you'll regret humiliating me like this. Remember that. Lucy spat before storming out of the daycare, as if fleeing the scene. As the time for the play was approaching, the parents who had been watching the commotion were quick on their feet and headed for the hall. It seemed Lucy and her son decided to skip the play altogether. To fill the role, Miss Milton stepped in, delighting the children with her surprise performance. Lily's class's rendition of Goldilocks and the Three Bears was absolutely adorable. Watching Lily shine on stage, I secretly wiped away a tear of pride. As Miss Milton had promised, Lily's costume was precious, and I didn't hesitate to take countless photos. That day, Laylee and I cooked a celebratory dinner at home. Lulu, eat up. I wasn't sure how much we'd need, so I bought a ton of taco shells. Mason, we don't have enough toppings at my house. It's customary to celebrate birthdays, Christmas, and other celebrations by making tacos together, which have become Lily's favorite food. This is because when Lily first came to my house, she was having a hard time getting through the meal, so I came up with the idea of tacos as a desperate measure. Since then, it has become her favorite food, and when it comes to celebrations, it's making tacos. Mason, when can I buy your manga at the bookstore? Lily asked as she munched on the almost empty taco shell with only a little bit of the ingredients on the end. It'll be a while, probably a year or more after the serialization starts, but it should be in a magazine first. Then I will buy it. What? Don't bother buying that. The author is supposed to get one copy of that magazine and I'll give it to Lily. No, I want to buy it with my allowance. That way, it helps your paycheck. With crumbs on her cheeks and a determined look on her face, Lily's earnestness melted my heart and made me laugh. You're so sweet, Lily. Well then, I'll give you a school bag as a gift. She looked at me with an exasperated expression. Mason, what are you talking about? I'm still a preschooler. First grade is after preschool. I chuckled and decided to share a tidbit I'd overheard from other parents at daycare. You probably don't know this, but cute school bags sell out fast. If we don't pre-order, you might not get the one you want. Really? That's bad. I want a Teppy school bag and lunchbox. We have to get them soon. I promised Lily we'd shop for her favorite character-themed school supplies, savoring the joy of my contest victory. 3 days later, I was summoned to the headquarters of the major publisher running the contest. I was led not to the bustling editorial department I had imagined, but to a quiet, minimalistic meeting room. As I sat, the gravity of the moment settled in. This was the beginning of my career as a professional manga artist. I'd assumed the meeting would involve contract details. Soon, the door opened and a casually dressed man in his 30s entered. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm with the editorial team and I oversee the contest. Here's my card, he said, handing it over as he got straight to business. The publisher opened a screen on the tablet they were holding and showed it to me. I'd like you to take a look at this. The unusually serious atmosphere gave me a bad feeling as I looked at the screen they indicated. It seemed to be some kind of social media platform. Please read it. When I did, I saw rumors accusing me of being a toxic parent who neglected proper childcare. Because I spent money on creating manga, the post included a photo, probably taken from somewhere, showing a father absorbed in his phone while ignoring a child reaching out to him. The implication was that I neglected my child. What is this? The publisher frowned and pointed to a number. Look at this, he said. It was clear from the numbers that the post was being widely shared, with accounts rapidly increasing. The person who posted this is an online whistleblower with a huge following. If you consider the number of shares here, the actual reach could be tens, even hundreds of times greater. Hearing this, I felt the blood drain from my face. My throat went dry. But this isn't true. It's completely baseless slander. How could they say such things? However, the publisher looked at me with a stern expression. No matter what you say, it's going to be difficult to overturn this, and our company cannot demote someone under such suspicion. Worst case scenario, this could hurt our image and even lead to the cancellation of publications. So what does this mean? I asked. The publisher shook his head. Unfortunately, this means we cannot proceed with your debut. We'll have to award the prize to someone else. We thought you had talent, but this is regrettable. With that, he left the room. Out of nowhere, my dream of becoming a manga artist was shattered. Feeling dejected, I headed out to pick up Lily at the daycare. I forced myself to appear cheerful as I entered the classroom. Good evening, Lily. I'm here. Let's get ready to go home. Huh? Mason, you're done with work already? We're early today. I'm not ready to go home yet, so wait a little, okay? Lily said, starting to clean up her toys. Mason, good evening. You're early today. Were you off work? Huh? You can tell. I just came back from the publisher. I noticed your outfit is different from usual. Did they say something at the publisher? I really can't hide anything from you. I can kind of tell how people are physically conditioned because of my profession. You seem to be in low spirits. If you don't mind, I'd like to talk to you. Well, actually, they canceled my prize in the manga competition. What? Why? Apparently, there's a social media post spreading false rumors about me. The public got concerned and decided not to proceed with my debut. That's awful. Miss Milton looked deeply saddened, but then she seemed to have an idea. Mason, I'd like to introduce you to someone. 5 days later, on Saturday, I arranged to meet Miss Milton. Mason, it's not fair. I want to see Miss Milton too. On a day off, when I told her that I had an appointment to meet with Miss Milton, Lily started to gag, wanting to go with me. Today's a serious talk, Lily. You'll stay home. I'm not going to play with Miss Milton. Then what are you doing? I don't know. She just said there's someone she wants me to meet. Anyway, Grandma's coming to stay with you. Grandma? Then I'm not going. I'll stay with Grandma. Lily calls my mother grandma, and my mom dotes on her like her own grandchild. She's thrilled to have a grandchild and often spoils Lily when she visits, much to my frustration. Once I managed to leave Lily with my mom, I headed to the coffee shop near the station where I was supposed to meet Miss Milton. I scanned the shop but didn't see her yet. After ordering coffee at the counter, I sat at a noticeable spot and waited. "Mason, sorry for keeping you waiting," Miss Milton said as she arrived at the table. Unlike her usual apron look at the daycare, she was wearing a dress that suited her perfectly, and I couldn't help but be captivated by her elegant appearance. Behind her, a man with distinct black-rimmed glasses approached the table carrying a tray with 2 drinks. "Over here, Nate," she called out, beckoning him with a wave. She then introduced him to me. "Mason, this is my brother, Nate. Nate, this is Mason." Her brother greeted me briskly, offering his hand after setting down the tray. "Hello. Thank you for always taking care of my sister. I'm Nate, Michaela's brother." "Oh no, it's me who should be thanking her." "Oh, why?" "Your brother?" Sensing my confusion at the sudden introduction, Nate began to explain. "Ah, so she didn't tell you anything. You should have warned him. It's confusing to just show up like this, right?" "Mason, I'm so sorry. I'm actually the editor-in-chief of a magazine. You've heard of Marvelous Comics, right?" "Wait, Marvelous? Of course I know it. When I was a kid, I was all about Marvelous. Back when I was a kid, there was a fierce rivalry between Marvelous and Dynamic Comics, and readers were divided into fans of either. As a Marvelous fan, I couldn't help but lean forward in excitement. "I'm the editor-in-chief at Marvelous Comics," Nate said. Noticing my enthusiasm, his expression softened slightly. "So, what does the editor-in-chief of Marvelous Comics want with me?" Embarrassed by my earlier outburst, I awkwardly asked why Miss Milton had introduced me to him. "I've heard a lot about you from my sister." "Hey, don't say that." "Ah, don't be shy. I've understood your character, and I truly want to help you. My sister always used to say that there's someone at the daycare with talent, but no opportunity to use it." I looked at Miss Milton, startled. "She has a knack for spotting talent in manga. Maybe because her instincts are similar to mine. At our editorial office, we sometimes ask her to read new submissions and give her thoughts. Honestly, a few of our hits have her input behind them. That's an exaggeration, but I will say this. I've always believed in the potential of your manga and characters, Mason. When I heard you were set to debut, I was convinced you'd be a hit. It's unforgivable that it all fell apart like this." After listening to them, Nate looked at me confidently. "So why don't you leave the rest to us at our publishing house? But false rumors have already spread online. Even if I become a manga artist, those accusations will haunt me. I don't want to cause you trouble." "Don't worry about that, because it's not true, right?" Through his glasses, Nate's piercing gaze locked onto me. "Yes, of course. I treasure Lily more than anything in the world." "Good. Then leave it to us. Our gossip magazine editor-in-chief Norman is the perfect person to handle this kind of situation." Reassured by Nate's confident smile, I decided to trust him. Later, I was officially set to debut as a new manga artist with Marvelous Comics. "Mason, I want you to focus solely on creating your manga. There's no way we're letting false rumors crush your talent." Following his advice, I put all my energy into the production work. After my one-shot manga was published, the editorial office was flooded with requests for a sequel. Today, I'm visiting the Marvelous Comics editorial office to discuss my upcoming serialization. "So how does it feel to be a successful manga artist? Has your life changed yet?" "Please stop that. My serialization hasn't even started yet." "Ah, fair enough. But trust me, anyone Michaela picks is destined to be a hit. I'll do my best to live up to expectations." "All right. Today we've arranged for you to do an online interview to prepare for your serialization." "An online interview?" "Yep. Have you seen our official video channel?" "No, sorry. I haven't." "That's fine. This time we'll introduce you as a new manga artist on our official channel. They'll also serve to disprove the false rumors from the ground up." "Can we really pull that off?" "The person who spread those rumors has 200,000 followers." Nate smirked confidently and raised 3 fingers. "Our reach is 3 million. I'm confident your fans will spread the truth." Trusting his words, I agreed to the online interview. For today's video, we're thrilled to have the rising star Mason, who just made a dazzling debut. "Mason, thanks for joining us today." The sudden high-energy introduction caught me off guard. Being naturally introverted, I couldn't help but flinch. "Oh, yes, thank you for having me." "What's this?" "Mason, you've got quite the charmingly natural vibe. I feel a connection already." "Do you think so?" As I was chatting with Nate in the meeting booth, a young editor appeared and began filming the interview. Unprepared, I stumbled through the start of the interview. About 10 minutes into the conversation, the interviewer brought up the false rumors. By the way, Mason, you previously won a manga competition with another publisher, didn't you? Yes. I won and was supposed to debut, but it was canceled at the last minute. That was because of that leaked private life post on social media, right? Yes, it was all lies. Lies, you say? Could you elaborate? First of all, my daughter is not my biological child. She's the child of my best friend from high school who passed away. Does that mean her parents? They died in an accident. I took her in. She's about to start elementary school, so we recently went shopping for school supplies featuring her favorite character, Tate. She loves tacos, and we often make them together. It's kind of our thing. Oh, and I still can't do braids. She beat me to it. We've only been living together for 2 years, but we're already family. Just hearing that, I can feel the warmth of your bond. That makes me happy to hear. I pour all my love into her and put her first always. It's my way of honoring my best friend. Thank you for sharing such a heartfelt story. Today, I'm looking forward to your future success. With that, the interview ended. A few days later, just before my serialization began, the interview was uploaded online and quickly surpassed 5 million views. Fans eager for my debut widely shared the video, helping it gain traction. At the same time, the identity of the person who spread the false rumors began to surface. Amidst a flurry of speculation, it was eventually revealed to be Lucy. Apparently, there was evidence and it was certain. There were also several posts from her mom's friends, and although her real name would not be published because of her children, the situation was exposed to the extent that those who would understand it could see her identity. How could you do this to me? One day, as I was picking up Lily from daycare, Lucy confronted me. I instinctively moved Lily behind me, but Lucy didn't appear to be threatening. Instead, she was tearfully lamenting how her actions had destroyed her own life. Because of what I did, my husband told me he's divorcing me. If I hadn't run into you, none of this would have happened. It's all your fault. Now he's threatening to take custody of my son. What am I supposed to do? She grabbed at me in desperation, but nearby parents and the Sullivan director restrained her. Lily and I managed to avoid harm, while Lily seemed unfazed. I couldn't help but feel guilty for her frightening experience. Apparently, Lucy's own actions caused damage to her husband's company, and he was so angry about it that he pronounced a divorce. Later, Miss Milton told me that Lucy and her husband had divorced and their son had moved to another daycare. It was heartbreaking to think about children being pushed around for the convenience of their parents. 2 years have passed since then. Thankfully, I've been able to continue my serialization with Marvelous Comics. Sales numbers and feedback have been consistently positive, and recently I was informed that an anime adaptation is being planned. For now, it's still tentative, but if all goes well, the first episode will air in spring 2 years from now. Lily, hurry up or you'll miss the school bus. How long are you going to keep eating? Miss Milton called out to Lily while feeding Patch, our now noticeably chubby calico cat. Lily is now in elementary school, and I've left my office job to focus solely on being a manga artist. Mom's food is so yummy. I want to savor every bite. Lily, you always say things like that, and I can't even scold you. It's a familiar morning scene, but also a little different. I've officially adopted Lily, making her legally my daughter. Though Michaela and I aren't married yet, we live together. Just recently, we found out she's expecting, and we're planning to file our marriage registration next week. Bye, Daddy. Mommy. Dad. Mom. Patches and baby, I'm off to school. Lily offered a silent prayer in front of the photo of Tate and his wife on the console table, then gave Patch's plump belly a squeeze. On her way out, she gently patted Michaela's growing belly and cheerfully dashed out the door. I took a minute for my own little ritual, reporting to Tate in my heart as I usually do. Lily is full of energy today, just like always. I kept my word and realized my goal of becoming a manga artist. Lily's love and care will be extended to the unborn child. Please continue to watch over us from heaven no matter what. By doing this, I have not only taken care of the priceless kid that my dearest friend entrusted to me, but I have also realized our common dream. As a family of 4, we are starting a new chapter, and I am looking forward to the future.